Welcome, welcome. Prep for a Better Year, a Sunday series, and today is all about setting better goals. For those who don't know me, I'm Claire Wasserman, and I am the founder of Ladies Get Paid, which is a newsletter, podcast, and a coaching practice that helps you increase your worth and activate your potential. My God, it's taken me 8 years to figure out what our one-liner is. I also have a weekly members-only email called Really Good Work Advice, where I give, really good work advice plus other benefits. And I'd love to connect with you. So reach out on LinkedIn or just go to coachmeclaire.com. A little bit of a backstory just to underscore where all of this guidance is coming from and who I am and why I'm fired up about this work. So 8 years ago, I began going across the country, hosting town halls for women to talk about work and money. I saw thousands of women, and let me tell you, out of the thousands of women, you wouldn't believe it. This is the email I got from probably 1,000 women. I thought I was the only one. And what really struck me in all of these town halls, all of these round table discussion, was that everyone came to it thinking that their challenges, their struggles at work and in life was singular to them, when in fact, it was actually really universal. And that's why I believe in sharing professional development through the lens of personal needs and doing it in a way where we are just transparent, because being transparent is transformative. And now there's over 50,000 women that are part of the Ladies Get Paid newsletter subscription. And the reason I'm putting my podcast out here for you all is it's me coaching real women on the podcast. They're off camera. I'm always looking for more people to coach. It's actually a subscriber benefit. Reach out if you're interested, but definitely check it out, because when you see yourself reflected in another person, that is oftentimes the first step to going, I'm going to be okay. And truly you will be. This is the other email that I more recently got. It was actually during the pandemic that was really significant for me. And the reason I'm sharing it is because it's why I'm doing today and why I'm doing all of January, all the free coaching in January. Tell me if this email resonates with you. And by the way, if you wrote it to me, let me know if you're in the chat and you feel brave. I feel lost after being so driven and focused, and now I just am having a hard time finding my way back to that. Honestly, I'm not sure I want to. Does that resonate with anybody? Love to see you in the chat. And that resonated with me, let me tell you, because pre-pandemic, this was me. I was like girl bossing it up beyond belief, having a great time, or so I thought. And then the pandemic happens and I completely lost myself, because when the outside world stopped, when the applause stopped, I stopped. I didn't know who I was anymore. And you know what I also realized? I was burnt the fuck out. Okay. And I am committing to you in helping us find, and I always say us because I'm on this journey with you all, a new definition of success, a way to make ambition easier. Because I'm with that woman who wrote in and said, I used to hustle hard and got success. I don't know if I want that. And by the way, so I call myself a recovering girl boss. You can read the whole story on this again and why I'm doing all of January on any of the Ladies Get Paid social channels, or just go to our LinkedIn. I go into a lot more depth. Okay, so let's talk about creating a better work life that doesn't require us to hustle to the point of burnout. I think it boils down to four fundamental elements. It's setting better goals, which is today, getting out of your way, protecting your energy, and transforming challenges. And I should make an amendment to that. It's really transforming challenges into opportunities. And so I've decided for the month of January, every Sunday, starting with today, of course, to focus, to do a sort of digestible deep dive on each of these subjects, and then to have breakouts for you to find somebody to, if you'd like, to exchange contact information. And you can hold, this can be your accountability partner for at least the next week, if not the quarter. And then I take it to the next step with really good work advice. This comes out every week, and it's this. So it's all of these, but once every week, new skills. So you're basically getting January for free. Okay. Now tell me if this sounds familiar. You set a goal or a New Year's resolution and you're really excited and you start working towards it. Then life happens and you fall back into bad habits. You fall back into being human, which I recently realized is a human quality and not a Claire thing, that I just didn't have discipline. This is actually a human thing, to not be able to follow through on habits. And here's the problem. The chasm between who you are today and what you wish you could be just keeps growing wider and wider. And so you feel shittier and shittier. This is why I cannot stand when I go to conferences and the speaker is all about aspiration and no action. Don't dangle the dream if you're not going to give me the roadmap to get it. And that's why we're here, because That is not going to be us this year and not on my watch. Today's overview: framework for setting yourself up for goal success. So it's not just actually setting better goals, it's really setting yourself up to achieve the goal. Breakout, special gift for attending live. Okay. SMART goals are out, D.I.M.E goals are in. I love an acronym. Is this an acronym? Yes, that's an acronym. My brain is having a, you know what? It's Sunday. So my brain is on Sunday brain. So SMART goals, you probably have heard of it, right? This is a quote, golden standard of setting goals. I've always had a little bit of a problem with it or a little bit of a struggle with it. And of course, had to make my own, which I'll show you in just a minute. What is a D.I.M.E goal? This is why I think D.I.M.E goals work better, because it will incorporate how you feel, both to the goal that you're setting, but also to the emotional resistance that you'll inevitably encounter as you attempt to fulfill that goal, aka being human. And that's my issue with SMART goals. It's too logical and not emotional enough, or too rational and not emotional enough. And we're human beings. So it means we're emotional beings. D.I.M.E. So desire. So we're going to go through each one of these today with prompts to help set you up on that roadmap. Desire. So the goals that we're going to be thinking about, they really need to be connected to something that is deep inside. So internal oriented versus external obligation. Impact. It's got to improve your quality of life as much as possible in as many ways as possible. So remember in the beginning, I said, hey, write down in the chat, what are your goals? We're going to narrow that list down. We need it to be the one that gives you, as I like to say, the biggest impact bang for your buck. Okay. Metric. All right. So quantifiable actions like, all right, how much do you do it? How often and for how long? That's like in the SMART goals, the measurable one. I took it from them. That's okay. And E, energy, that you have the capacity to sustainably follow through on what's required to fulfill this goal. Capacity to sustainably follow through. All right, we like sustainability here. All right, desire. So let's talk about what it isn't and what it is. Okay, it's not something that you want. It's something that you need. I really want everyone here after today, just let that ruminate a little bit. What is the difference in your life of something that you'd like to have versus something that you need to have? So we want to get way deeper here, okay? Externally oriented obligation. So if you ever using the word should, I should do this. Hey, listen, maybe you should, but I want you to stop and say, do I really need to? Okay? Because that's an external obligation. That's going to burn you out over time. What it is, okay, internally derived fills your cup. I love that expression because assuming that you've all heard of it, I think you know what I mean, right? There's like a gut feeling when you're doing this thing that it's filling your cup in some way. And I have found in my coaching practice and in doing Ladies Get Paid that women really struggle actually to connect to their desires and transparency. Me, I didn't realize I was gay until I was 30. Talk about being cut off from your desires. I decided to be nice to my ex-husband and put a little thing over his head so no one knows who he is. So yeah, I really had no clue who I was in a number of, no, excuse me. I did know who I was. I wasn't connected to my desires. So here's a good prompt for us all. What is something that if you did or had more or less of it, it would improve the quality of your life? I'm going to ask this question in a different way in the next slide, but take a second. So if you did this or you did less of this, or if you had more of this or had less of this. Sometimes it's easier to figure out what we want through what we don't want, which is why I add this or less of in here, okay? This is how I figured out my college major. I went down the list of what did I not like first, right? So this is really the kicker. If I felt more or less of fill in the blank, my life would meaningfully improve. Because, and I get chills here, how we feel about life is our life. Case in point, how many of us have achieved something that on the outside, right, to everybody else, it looks really good, but the way we feel about it, there's a disconnect. Maybe it's not good enough because the goalposts keep moving, or maybe we're numb to it, or whatever. It's because the experience of life is our feelings towards it. Okay, this is very important. Our goal, guys, is about the feeling, the desired feeling. And then all the actions we take and where we focus will support getting that desired feeling. always the feeling. So it's never about the money. It's about what does the money make you feel? Okay. Anybody who's done A Rich Life has read that book. He goes into that. So for me, my desired feeling is to be more present and grounded. I did not figure that out immediately. That took me to, it was really saying, what do I not want? Okay. So I was like, I can tell you what I don't want, which is to feel overwhelmed, because right now I'm feeling really overwhelmed and really frantic. Right. Okay. So then we ask ourselves this: what do I need to do? Or for some of us, stop doing in order to feel this way. And this is where the roadmap begins. And I will take us into the next section. Again, I'm going to be giving you these prompts at the end of, I was going to say class. This is not class. Certainly not class. I'll give you these prompts at the end, right before you do your breakouts. But if this is resonating, jump in the chat, or if you need further clarifications as well. Let's get into impact, okay? Because now you should be at the place where you have a sense of what your desired feeling is for, and I'll say the year, but let's just break it down into the next 3 months, right? 90 days, that's a quarter. That's really the roadmap you'll create is just for 3 months. Okay, but desired feeling. All right, let's talk about impact. So if you focus on this area, and I'm going to show you which areas to look at in just a second, but if you focus on this area, it will make it easier to fulfill your desired feeling and improve the quality of your life as much as possible in as many ways as possible. So this is something we're going to pick here. And we're going to start with the negative again. So within these areas, and by the way, I'm probably missing some. I added relationships, then I took it out. So let's just start here. Which ones currently have the biggest blockers to your ability to support your desired feeling? And by the way, if you're like, all of them, yeah, because it's holistic, everything is connected. But that's why we're going to talk about which ones will make the most impact if you were to focus on it. Because there's domino effects here. Okay, I like to call it a domino goal, actually. All right, so I'm going to give you my example for a second, and then we'll go back. So again, remember, I want to be less overwhelmed this year. So I thought about what's causing my overwhelm in all the ways. Mental health and my work have been major contributors to my overwhelm. I'm definitely stressed about money for sure. But remember, I'm trying to pick the biggest ones right now, because we can't tackle everything all at once. Relationships, mental, financial. Yeah, I guess I'll say the reason I took out relationships was only because I felt like they supported the mental ones. Also, the reason to have relationships, and I could be wrong, and this is just my opinion, but the reason to have relationships is because they help our mental health. They make us feel better. And by the way, feeling better is to me mental, right? I know that's emotional, but I'm including that under mental. So that's why I didn't include relationships as a separate category. Okay, you may find that you have multiple areas you want to tackle. So pick no more than 2, the ones with the biggest impact for just this quarter. And this is really important to build your, and I like to call it sustainability muscle, the sustainability muscle. I promise you will accomplish more if you do less. Okay. Accomplish more if you do less. So we have a question here. What do you include under physical? Yeah. For example, so I want to feel more present and grounded. And under physical, a blocker I might have to that desired feeling is I'm currently, and this is true, like I really don't work out. I've needed to develop, I should develop it, being outside more, walking, breathing in, do deep breaths. That'll be more physical. So if you right now are not physically moving, that's a blocker. Or on the flip side, maybe you're extremely physical, you do a lot with your body and you need to rest. So maybe that's a blocker for you. But remember, it's about what is blocking your desired feeling. So always go back to what is the feeling you want? That's the most important thing, because your feeling and how you feel about life is your experience of life. And now we're building the roadmap. So hopefully it'll be interesting when you all do breakouts as people, maybe you'll get an idea from someone else. Okay, so what I'm doing with you all here in this last section was giving you direction. So we started with the desired feeling, which is basically the goal. And now we're giving ourselves a direction that we can build a roadmap from. And the roadmap will be action steps. Okay. And again, everyone's getting the recording, so you'll be able to rewatch this back if you want to hear my voice again. Metric. Okay. So a critical part of making an action plan that actually works is considering how you work and how you can make things easier for yourself. So this needs to be everybody's mantra for this year and moving forward. How can we make life easier for ourselves? Metrics can really do this. And for somebody like me who's had an aversion to math, okay, numbers always scared me. They liberate you, trust me. Okay. I've learned that they actually let you be free because they give you parameters that when you are able to follow them, that is what liberates you. So, based on what you need to do to fulfill your desired feeling, okay, so keeping that in mind. And by the way, if anybody wants to write down, like some people wrote down what their categories, like where their biggest blockers, right? So, Victoria said, financial, without a sufficient, reliable, stable source of income, nothing else happens. Totally agreed. What is the desired feeling that you're looking for, right? And you have identified financial as something that right now is in the way of that desired feeling. So we always, again, want to start with the desired feeling. So if people want to share what that is, that might be nice. And then we can all brainstorm how to get there together. So based on what you need to do to fulfill your desired feeling within whatever categories you've chosen. All right. So Victoria, so for financial, she's going to identify action steps, how often and for how long she needs to take these steps, and she's going to put them on her calendar. And I'm going to break this down for you even further. So within the action steps we take, so again, this is the roadmap. We're going to consider two categories, two different columns of actions. These are going to be one-time actions and then habits, okay, that we need to take to get to our desired feeling or remove the obstacles in the way. So here's some, I'll give you examples in just a slide, but this is going into a little bit more detail here. So as you consider, and I'll keep using, it's okay with you, Victoria, so financial, right? So there might be a one-time step for her financial. Let's say her desired feeling is less stressed. And by the way, for whatever you say for a desired feeling, actually, whatever answer you come up with in general for anything, really, I would always see if you can get more specific, because the more specific you can be, the more accurate, aligned, getting to the heart of the matter, right? So for her, if it's less stressed and being more specific, less anxious, maybe less stressed, so less anxious about money, what's a one-time action that Victoria could take? She's not going to have to make a habit of this. So one-time action could be doing research of or it could be reviewing all of her last year's statements to see where her money is going. Another one-time step could be deleting or removing herself from any subscriptions that she's paying for that she doesn't want anymore. That's a one-time action. But I'm telling you, Victoria's not going to do this, or maybe she will, but I don't think she's going to do this unless she puts it on her calendar. So when is she going to do this? Also, I love asking this question. Do you need anything to do this? Because sometimes we think something is one step when actually it's more. It's three to five. And you need to do research or ask for help or whatever. Okay. Do you need to do anything to do this? How long is it going to take you? When will you do it? Is there a metric of success you can put on it? And how will you celebrate? And for habits, of course. So a habit, so financial habit to support her desired feeling of being less anxious around money might be, it's called a money date. I didn't make it up. A lot of financial coaches will talk to you about this every week or every whatever quarter, maybe. It's checking in with your account, your bank account, and doing, I don't know, meditations or, right. So this is something, it's not a one timer. It's a muscle to develop that will make you stronger in getting to your desired feeling or your goal, right? So when will you do it? For how long? How many times? Until when? And then how can you make it as easy as possible to follow through? And how will you celebrate? Let me show you some examples from my goal. So I realized my feelings of overwhelm, a lot of it was coming from both how I was doing my work, but also the kind of business that I run. I've completely rethought my business model actually, because it was fully reliant on live launches. And these were things that were causing a lot of overwhelm in my life. I needed to have more passive income, right? So one-time stuff, it was brainstorm passive income sources, right? Streams, that's pretty much a one-time. That's not a habit. Lots of things for y'all. So I didn't put metrics on any of these, but because I just wanted to give you more examples. Now for habits, this is an interesting one. I really would not pick more than 3 habits per quarter to complete at an achievable cadence. So again, my desired feeling, be more present, grounded, okay? And I have 3 habits that I'm doing right now for this quarter, one of which is I want to decrease my daily phone usage by 30 minutes. That's one of my habits. And these were things that are how I'm making it easier for myself, my frequency, how I'm going to celebrate. I'm going to give a shout out to a product that I just launched, which I have a little gift for you all at the end of today. It's called the To Done Tracker. It's in Notion. And so I put my habits in here and you can see my goals: be more present, grounded. I've got 3 habits that I've chosen that I think are going to have the biggest impact on my ability to be grounded, okay, and present. It's less phone time, more walking, and restart my yoga practice. And then I put metrics on it, how to make it easier. And then I also put alarms on my calendar. Okay. This is all again about building the sustainability muscle. We can add later, right? Let's not set ourselves up for disappointment by trying to do too much. Let me check the chat. Okay, good. Yeah, no phone before coffee. Good. Love it. All right, now let's talk about the energy to do all of this. Now that you've identified your desire, you've outlined the beginning of a roadmap, I want you to consider your current capacity for sustainably following through. And it's important to be very honest with yourself, which I guess, to be honest, I sometimes have a struggle with that because I continually overestimate my energy and my ability to get things done because my desire, I really want to do it so badly, but you really got to look at how many hours in a day do you actually have to commit to this. And it's not just about the time. We always think it's about the time. It's really not about the time. It's about your energy within that time. Okay, so these are really good questions to ask yourself before you embark on this goal that you've set for yourself. It's also something to consider on a regular, hopefully, all have a regular reflection practice for yourself, whether it's daily, weekly. Saying yes to something means saying no to something else. So if I do this action, if I'm focusing on this thing, what am I not focusing on in exchange, right? What am I saying no to? Okay, how will I do that? Because current capacity, chances are you're saying yes to a bunch of other stuff, and now you're going to have to say no. Do you have a plan for how you're going to do that? And then do you need anything to help you do that? You got to put a deadline on it. In my world, if it's not on a calendar, it's not happening. Not sure how y'all feel. Humans, as humans, we are not wired to change, actually, because changing is an unknown. We'd rather be a known quantity to ourselves, even if it doesn't make us feel good, strangely enough. So, what roadblocks can you anticipate standing in your way? These are roadblocks that could come externally. You could have people in your life who are going to make this harder for you, but those people could also be you. You might make it harder for you. So, what can you do to proactively address that? Will you need any help to do that? And if so, where will you get that support? Put a deadline. And then energy is our most precious resource. So anybody who's suffered from a chronic illness or been pregnant with twins like me, we know how, unless you're feeling okay health-wise, like it's so hard to get anything done. So knowing that energy is our most precious resource, how will you sustain and protect yours? Okay, because the momentum from today will carry you for only so long. It's really going to be up to you to figure out how will you carry it forward. And you might need help doing that. And there's no shame in that. That's why I went into the business of coaching, right? So it doesn't mean that you have to hire a coach, of course, but to not think that you can and should do this on your own, that's too lonely and too hard. So will you get support? So speaking of all of this stuff, energy and being in our way, it's exactly what we're talking about in the next 2 sessions. So I hope you can come. Get Out of Your Own Way is next Sunday, and Protect Your Energy is the Sunday after that. All right, we are ready for breakouts, and I am doing well on time. I think we may stay within our 45 minutes, so good for me. Okay, by the way, before we jump into breakouts, which will just be partners, I would love if anyone has any questions based off of these prompts. Y'all feel like you know how to answer it. By the way, this doesn't have to be like the ultimate desired feeling and the ultimate action you're taking. It's just the start of, like I said, a roadmap, a framework that's going to set you up for actually achieving this year. So if I felt more or less of this, my life would meaningfully improve. And then consider what starting category you could focus on as you create your roadmap. My examples were mental, physical, professional, financial. And within that category, is there an action you can immediately think of? So again, for me, desired feeling, being more present, I knew that mental health, I've got some bad habits when it comes to mental health and thought patterns that are toxic that I need to address. One action I could take, I instantly knew it's got to be the phone. Talk about being more present. If I'm doom scrolling, got an impact, right? I'm not present because I'm on my phone and it's making me feel shitty, right? And so we're going to do breakouts where, oh, question from somebody, I have to head out at 4:30 her time. So will a recording be sent? Yes, it will. And it will be sent right after today. And email me back because I'm giving you a gift for coming live. So in that email I send with the recording, I'm going to say respond to me so you can get your gift. Okay, so tell me any questions before we jump in the breakouts. I'll give us a second in the chat. And we will do breakouts for about close to 10, 5, 8 minutes. Okay. Oh, let me put in the chat because I a bunch of links that I've mentioned. Okay, let me just, yeah, it's called the To Done Tracker. And I'm going to put some more. I'm just going to give you all the gifts right now, but I don't want you to leave just yet. The gift is you all get it for free because you came today. Yay. So you can redeem the free tracker and I give you that link. Please don't share with anybody else. And if you didn't come live, you get another gift, but you don't get the free tracker. You do get the tracker for free if you get an annual subscription to Really Good Work Advice, but you get 10% off for that. Okay. So you do get the tracker and that comes with some benefits too. And I'm really obsessed with it. Okay. Let's do our breakouts now. Otherwise, I will turn this into I am no more Slack or Circle. These are all questions. Yeah, I'm cutting it off. We're not doing any more community on Slack and Circle. It's all for subscribers. As I'm not giving a lot. Only free stuff I'm giving away this year are events. That's it. And yeah, because my bank account. All right, let's do breakouts. I love when I take my own advice. It's so rare. It's much easier to give guidance than to take it. Thank you, Erica. Those of you who've been part of the Ladies Get Paid journey for a long time know how this is. Okay, so let's go ahead and stop or I guess, can I do breakouts with the share? Yes, I think I can. So let's do breakout rooms. And I don't know. Okay, let's do. Give me 1 second. Okay. We're going two, it might be more than two to three per room. All right. Ladies get paid. Yes. Okay. Finally, it's happening. 8 years into the making. All right. We're going to create those groups. I will see you at 2:40 p.m. my time. So about 8 minutes. And y'all have your prompts up here. DM me if you have any questions. See you soon. Tell me if anyone wants to share. I would welcome you to join in if there was something, if you want to share from what you experienced in answering these questions and doing the breakouts, or if the person that you connected with really inspired you, or you felt like there was something meaningful that they shared that could help someone else in this group, would love to welcome you to either the stage or just put it in the chat. Yeah,
Hey, Claire,
bio
can
breaks.
you
Yeah,
hear me?
sure can.
Hi, I was just sharing with the women in the chat with me that, like, you outlined 4 areas,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm trying to do all at once,
Mm-hmm.
just because it's like a necessity, is how it feels. And of course, I get overwhelmed. So trying to narrow which one to start on, and I'm thinking, like, can I just narrow to professional and fitness?
Like I said, two is totally fine, but let's go back to impact. This is a great question, by the way. I'm really glad you asked it. And no doubt somebody else also, and by somebody else, multiple people feel the same way. So let's go back to impact here. Okay. I like to think of this as, like I said, a domino effect. It has this sort of cascade, or think of it like a spider web or an octopus with tentacles. If you do this, if this is an area that you focus in, can you get it? Will there be some, again, cascade effect? Give me the only way this is going to make sense is if we take it from abstract to concrete. So for you, if you feel comfortable sharing what you're grappling with
Sure.
and your desired feeling, together we could figure out what's going to have the biggest bang for your impact buck.
Sure. I told the girls, and take this as it is. I am slightly older and I have been out of work since the pandemic. I've been caring for my family for the last 4 years. My mother got cancer after I got them through the pandemic, and then we got hit with the cancer bomb.
Of course we did.
Um, and admittedly, when I lost my job in the pandemic, I had a little PTSD from the tech bros
Yep.
and the doom scrolling. So there was all that. Helped my mom until she passed. Soon as mom passed, then dad got diagnosed because he hadn't been taking care of himself. So he just got a clean bill of health. So he is on the mend. So yay for that. And I have just acquired a verbal offer for a job. I have
Oh.
been looking for that as well. So clearly, finances, not taking care of myself, not taking care of my health, everything is a stressor and everything is overwhelming because I'm trying to do everything at once.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking if I focus on the job, whether the offer comes through or I need to find something else, and my health, if I just try to focus on those two things, there should be cascading effects that would then go to financial and mental health.
Yeah. When you really good, we're doing this exercise together because everything I've given you all, it's a general framework, but until we start filling it in with our personal details and getting as specific as possible, it will be stuck. We'll have questions. So let's start from the beginning of the day with you. When you wake up, actually, by the way, desired feeling, what would you say that is?
Pardon my language, that I have my shit together.
Okay. Oh, pardon your language. Are you kidding me? Okay. Have my shit. Okay.
Oh,
What does that
but
mean?
I know that I do, but it's just that I'm making the most of my time. I'm being productive and I'm doing the things I need to be doing instead of letting overwhelm get me and my energy be depleted.
Mm-hmm. Okay, why is that important to you? And I'm going to, by the way, a big fan of what I like to do with coaching, and you all will hear this in my podcast, is when I ask you questions, I'm also going to
Mhm.
do my best to tell you why I'm asking you this question. Because you're saying things like be productive, or those are, I get the feeling of being productive, but like,
Yeah.
why is
Yeah.
that important to you, right? What is that? What are you hoping to achieve because of that? Because that's not the core.
Build momentum
Okay, build momentum towards what?
towards making these positive changes for my life, for myself. I'm not good at putting myself first.
Okay, okay. I am going to give you your desired feeling. I think you want to feel proud of yourself.
Hmm.
I think you want to feel stable, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Secure.
Yes, secure. Yeah. So I would say, but you're not even secure because I'm even going to say, what feeling does security give you? So again, I know I'm getting like really specific, but we don't want to go down the wrong path. And that can happen when you're not getting very specific with yourself. So just for the short, because we don't have much time, we're going to say, feel proud. Okay. So another thing, and I'm going to talk more about this next week as well, because it's about getting out of our own way. But a good question you can ask yourself before you figure out impact or before we get into all the categories and shit, control. What do I actually have control over? Okay. What do I have,
Mhm.
right? Control, another word for that could be influence, right? What do I have influence over? And what do I not? And it's really important. I get chills at this stuff, guys, because this is going to change your life. When you move forward and you're looking at, should I take this action or not? Or if you're having a certain thought pattern or a spiraling emotion, the only way I have found that you can figure out what you're going to do. And what did you say? You said, have your shit together. The only way you're going to get there is if you focus solely on the things that you actually have control over slash influence of. And this is very important. You listen to this. Learn how to let go of everything else. That is really huge and really hard because I think a lot of us, again, I'm going to go into way more detail in next session and the one after that with energy. We spin our wheels on the stuff we cannot control and we don't take action on the stuff that we can. Saying all of that, we're going to look at what categories of your life. So let's always start with just the mental health, right? Because right now, that is actually what you have the most control over it or impact on. Creating practices, building that muscle that's going to support the desired feeling. So I would say if we were working together and maybe we could do a podcast session, something together, and you're anonymous, by the way, totally anonymous, we would say from the time you wake up to when you go to sleep, when do you tend to feel the opposite of the desired feeling? And what are ways that you actually could do something proactively and in the moment to catch that? So that you might figure out a habit that relates to the mental health for sure. I have a
Hmm.
feeling most people here, one of the categories that you're going to build habits around is mental health. And then I would say the second bucket, that's the one where, all right, how do we feel proud of ourselves? How do we know that we're going to feel proud of ourselves here? Work is tied to money, right? You want to get that job. Okay. You don't have control over whether you get the job or not, but maybe it would be habits as it relates to building your network, right? And the opportunities that are going to come through the network. And you showed up today, so you obviously know the importance of when you're with other people. This is the next step. This is huge. So maybe it's habits, building habits around networking. How many times you're going to go, and I know it's going to sound so terrible, but like how many times will you be on LinkedIn, reach out to people? Don't worry, I'm going to build dashboards for all of this, guys, and give them away. Like I will help you with all of this, but it's really, again, if there's a spider web out of all of this stuff, if you were to say, okay, getting a job, what do I need to get the job? Which ones am I doing? Which ones am I not doing? Which ones require one time action versus habit? You will not figure out your roadmap in a day. I would say, everyone here, let's take a full week to build this stuff out because there's a lot of different directions everybody can go in. And I mentioned this earlier, Since all this stuff is related, our finances are related to our job, right? Both of those things are stressors. Our physical, right? We could be like me, I was killing it at my job, but I was killing my body. I totally burnt out, right? So we actually have to work on everything. It's just a matter of which ones do you tackle for the next 3 months? That's all we're talking about here. So if everyone's getting overwhelmed, just always remind yourself we're breaking it down into the next 90 days. And 90 days is broken down into a month, into a week, into a day. And that habit tracker, that's called the to done tracker, will 1,000% help you not be overwhelmed as you do this. So I gave you half answers. I didn't fully give you your plan because you really need to sit with it a little bit more. But I hope that I've given you prompts or ways to look at it that now, before you just jump into anything or get stressed about anything, just say, okay, is this going to give me a good bang for my buck in what I'm looking for? And I love this question from Amanda. Do you consider feeling productive a feeling? I do consider it a feeling, but I would always push you to say, especially because I'm all now about making ambition easier, why do you want to feel this way? It's for what? Why is this important to me to feel productive? And I don't know, Amanda, if you want to jump in and answer that. A way to answer, by the way, this is a technique in cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT. It's called the downward arrow technique, where anytime you come up with a response to a thing, right? So I want to feel productive. You say, it is important to me to feel productive because, and then you'll give an answer, whatever that answer it is, you go, it is important to me. And you just keep saying, why is this thing important to you? This gets to your values. This gets to the core, gets to that desire, right? There's something that's very deep inside. I realize technically we are over time. Let me thank you, by the way, for sharing. That was really brave. I hope I was helpful ish. I'm forcing you to say yes. Okay.
Yes, you were. Thank
Okay,
you.
you don't have to say yes. It's fine. I'm going to try to put all my links back in the chat one more time. Okay, there was a question about the free link is still requiring that I put in credit card info. Unfortunately, so it's free, but unfortunately, there is no way to redeem it without doing that. Otherwise I don't have like I set this up through my email provider. There's products and this is a question that is asked, but it's not a subscription, so you'll never be charged. I guess technically I'll have your credit card on file, but honestly, I don't even know where it is. Wouldn't even know where it is in my background, my blind platform. So I put all the links in the chat, and would love to connect. So again, if anybody watching this, you couldn't be here live, and you have a gift too, so no worries there. And we'll do a monthly meetup. So every month I'm going to do something like this for really good work advice. But through January, it's free every week. And thank you, Stephanie, for saying thank you, and lots of others of you. And really hope out of all of this, you're just feeling recognized. That's my number one goal. Always you feel just that you are not alone in this. We are definitely with you in various of our personal experiences. We might not have had a parent with cancer, but my son has had open heart surgery. So I feel you deeply, the person who shared. And again, it's about the next 3 months. I would say next 3 months is what this roadmap is for. It's about your desired feeling. Okay. So feeling. So it's not about achievements. It's not about outside. It's always inside. Okay. It's about one-time actions and habits in an area of your life. I'm just recapping for y'all on the fly. In an area of your life that will have the biggest impact, domino impact, again, for the next 3 months, just as a place to get started. Whole point is building the sustainability muscle. And as that sustainability muscle gets stronger, as your mental health gets stronger, as your finances get stronger, you're going to go ready to move on, ready to add on. And it's a glorious feeling. But it's never, I just want to be clear, it's never about did we get there? It's about how we're getting there. Because that's actually both the feeling of life and the experience of life. It's in the work. It's in the work. Let's go. Yes. Cynthia, glad you'll be coming back. And Deirdre as well. Hope y'all can make it. Talking about getting out of our own way, particularly with procrastinating, with perfectionism, definitely going into exercises on what do we have in our control, what can we impact, what can we influence, versus what do we need to let go of, and how do we actually friggin' do that. Easier said than done, but I'm glad to be doing this all with you. Have a beautiful rest of your Sunday, rest of your week, and hopefully you'll consider becoming a subscriber to Really Good Work Advice so we can keep doing this kind of digestible deep dives, as I call them, moving forward. Much love. I'll see y'all soon.